All right, you guys, it's been a minute that I've actually gotten to do my own podcast, and I'm happy to say that this guest is one of those guests that I'm like, okay, I got to bring them on regardless of how my schedule is. And if everybody doesn't know from, the Valley, or if you're from like, I don't know, Bakersfield, or I don't know, somewhere else besides the LA County area, we have a big thing going on right now. AV Alta. And of course, we have Panchito, which is a big part of the AV Alta. Mm-hmm. So that's my biggest reason why I wanted him on. He had a great story as far as like when we had a podcast with the Shade of Brown. And I'm like, you know what? This is a guy that I need to talk to one-on-one. So Mr. Panchito, if you could just give the audience a brief little bio on not only your involvement in the AV Alta, but as far as like your upbringing.
Yeah, so first of all, bro, buenos dias, good afternoon, everyone. I'm not sure when, what time is it? It's 11 a.m. over here.
There you go, somewhere.
Some in the morning, right? But yeah, thank you for allowing me to be here. It's an honor, bro. Just collaborating, connecting with folks from the AV as well. It's really important to represent Antelope Valley and support each other. I was born in San Fernando Valley, but I was raised here in Antelope Valley. I was raised in Lake Los Angeles. For those who don't know, where's that from? Is east of Lancaster and Palmdale, in the middle of nowhere. There's only one main light there in Lake Los Angeles. We're known for the Joshua trees, and if you see music videos that look like kind of like the desert background, most likely it was filmed in Lake Los Angeles.
There you go.
So I was raised there. Ended up going to Little Rock High School. I graduated from Little Rock High School, went on to play Division I soccer for UC Riverside. I was the first one from Lake Los Angeles to play Division I soccer. And then I graduated from UC Riverside, and I was the first one from Lake Los Angeles to get a full ride to go to the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. So I was out there for 3 years. During that time, I started my own nonprofit. It's known as Project Rooted. And after that, it's been a blessing now to come back to the AV and be part of AV Alta, which is amazing. The AV, it's a soccer community. So far, the community has really, really embraced us and accepted us, and that's really beautiful because that was our goal. We see soccer, we see this team, AV Alta, as a tool to create civic pride for our residents, but also to create more opportunities for our youth, because I had to travel down below just to get seen, colleges and get that exposure needed to allow me to achieve my goals and my dreams. So now we have the blessing to have a local team that's going to be local, help local players, play for our academy for free, and then have those local players hopefully make the leap into our first team. So that's our goal. And right now, I am the head of partnerships. So I collaborate with the community, I help raise and bring money to the team. But it's been an amazing journey. It's been a blessing. In my vision board, I put start a professional soccer team, right? But I never imagined I was going to start it at an early age. Wow. So I really want to thank John Smeltzer, who had the original idea, the founder and president, the one behind this idea, who believed in me and brought me on board to help him start this project with them.
Okay. How did he find you?
Through connections. Shout out to Kyle McClung, one of my mentors. Shout out to Roberto Castellanos too, one of my best friends as well. Both of them, Roberto Castellanos, he plays for Sporting Kansas City with Major League Soccer. It's one of the few playing right now in Major League Soccer and who has come out from Antelope Valley to play pro soccer. And then Kyle McClung, I call him an AV legend. He went to Cortez High School. I went to UCLA, played with the youth national team, one of the best players to come out from Antelope Valley. He became a mentor early on in my youth career when I was in undergrad trying to start my nonprofit. And both of them mentioned my name to John Smeltzer. So John was like, I had to meet this guy, Panchito. Who is he? So we connected. And since then, I told John, John, if you want to do this, we have to connect with the community. We have to embrace them and meet them where we're at. So we started meeting folks all the way in California City, Lake Los Angeles, Rosemont, Lancaster, Palmdale, Little Rock, right? And we met with pretty much all the local high school coaches, some educators, some school board members, right? And we asked some questions like, if you bring a team, like, how do you want it to represent you? Would this be worth it? What do you want this team to be like, right? And so we got their feedback, and that's how we started AV Alta.
Very cool. Nice. Now, there is one thing that I do remember when we were doing the Shade of Brown that kind of like that stuck into my head as far as like your path into soccer and the path that your parents took to actually get you into the positions that you got into, because not every parent is that committed the way that you were kind of announcing how your dad was driving you, and the distance of the drive, like after school, and I'm pretty sure he was tired, that kind of thing. Is that something that you're taking into place as far as that work ethic that your parents might have just shown you through the example that you're now implementing in this now team?
Of course, for example, today's Saturday, yesterday, Friday, ABC College had a guest speaker, Jose Hernandez.
Oh man, I would have loved to have gone, bro. I saw the post, like, no one told me.
Bro, he's amazing. He's my role model.
Oh
right?
man, yes.
I remember he came out in Don Francisco Presenta.
Uh-huh.
So back in the day, Don Francisco had shows right on Saturday nights.
Telemundo.
Yeah. And then he had one as well during the weekday.
Uh-huh.
And on the weekday, he would bring in guest to his show. And one of those guests was Jose Hernandez. And I remember we were all eating a bolillo con frijoles.
Okay.
That was, for us, that was like our main meal back in the day. My grandma worked for Vallarta. So she'll come back late at night, like around 9 p.m. And then she'll bring fresh bolillos and then we'll eat them with frijoles. It was dope. That was my dad's childhood memories.
There you go.
But I brought that up because when we were watching Jose Hernandez, he was sharing his story. That when he was 10 years old, he told his dad, "Dad, I want to be an astronaut." So his dad was like, "Is that so, mijo? Why?" So he's, because he's explaining everything and what he saw on TV. So his dad was like, the same work ethic that you put on the field with me when you work, the same work ethic you have to put in the school and in your dreams. And my dad looked at me and he said, "¿Vistes, mijo? Si es que sueña grande, si quieres ser futbolista profesional, si quieres jugar al colegio, échale ganas. No te des por vencido."
There you go.
So my dad did his part in supporting me because he saw that I was really dedicated towards achieving my dreams.
Yeah.
Right. And I am who I am because the people who supported me,
Yeah.
my mentors, my friends, but also my parents.
Yeah.
Because they saw a kid with so much dreams.
Yeah.
And like they saw how passionate I was towards achieving them. So they were like, you know what? This is not a sacrifice. Because at the end of the day, like, you want to do what's best for our kids. So we're going to support them. And they did. So that's why every time I go and speak to schools, every time I go and talk to students, I acknowledge my parents. I acknowledge my ancestors. Because to be honest, we have a strong work ethic. We work really hard with our hands. But it's time to work hard with our minds.
There you go.
Right?
There you go.
And to take over, to create businesses, to help each other out, to collaborate. El sol sale para todos, ¿verdad? Pero unidos somos más fuertes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think the work ethic of a Hispanic, it's always been labored work. And then my idea was always like, okay, I know I could do that, but just like you said, like, it's time to use the mind, time to make a system to create a job, not only for myself, but for the people around me. And I think that's something that I'm now noticing, not just on your generation, because you're a little younger than me, but on my generation, like, where this took years of the making, like my little studio that I have in the AV. And then that's how I met Rams, the shade of brown. Then we became friends, because of the steps that I took of like a belief of like, oh, one day I want this. And then I'm like, okay, let's go get it. But it's not just the labored work. It's the systems that I had to put into place, like step by step. Okay, like, this is what I need to do to create an LLC if I want to make it legitimate, and start announcing it, start marketing it, start branding it. And I think little by little, as just like you said, the little steps that you take as far as like the efforts is just the momentum that you start to revolve your life around, and then gravity takes place, right? Of course, there are always going to be negative people around you, not just the supporters. And I kind of want to go up on that too, because Lake LA is known not for its luxury, right?
It's known for those houses.
So having that said, was that something that either motivated you to want to do better, or was that a thing that even put you almost at an anchor where you're like, I could be here for the rest of my life? And I'm not saying that it's wrong to be there, but it's just one of those things, like, everyone wants to get out of their spot, right? When they grow up, like, I want to get out of the hood, or I want to get out of the east side or whatever. Was that something that you even had in your head to move forward, or did you not even had a thought in your head to have that? Like, because I've gone to Lake LA, like, I don't know who hasn't. I was like, every time I go there, I'm like, okay, this is Lake LA,
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but as far as like what I'm talking about, negative people usually want to hinder those that are moving forward. Was there anybody in your life like that you might have grown up with, either a family member or a friendship, or maybe you had a enemy in high school that, like would envy you from afar, that kind of thing? I'm not sure if I'm kind of getting that.
Yeah, so there's negative feedback, right? There's people who would definitely not believe in my dreams or would tell me, but you're from like Los Angeles.
Yeah.
No one goes to Michigan. No one goes to plays Division One.
Yeah.
Right. And then growing up as well, I had a lot of labels upon me. I was an English language learner. I was at Promise Youth. I got expelled a couple times. So all this, things going against me. I wasn't doing good in school.
Yeah.
But what made me change was when I got suspended in 5th grade. I was with my boys. So this day we're still good friends. Got suspended, so they called my mother and then told my mom, "Hey, you have to come pick up your student, Panchito, because he's a danger to the school and to the students. He can't be within 3 miles of the school, right?" So think about that. Think about your mother receiving the phone call.
Yeah.
How would she feel?
Yeah.
So she got the phone call, right? She's like, "Voy para la escuela." She went to the school. I remember I was sitting down, waiting for my mom, like, damn, me va a pegar, me va a regañar. And she walked in, and as soon as she walked in, she looked at me, and she started to cry. She started to cry with like someone had passed away.
Yeah.
And I told myself that day, the next time my mom cries, it's going to be happiness, and because I was able to good things in life.
Yeah.
And then my parents, once I went back home,
Yeah.
I had a conversation with my parents, and they were like, "Mijo, nosotros trabajamos duro, trabajamos a San Fernando, nos levantamos bien temprano por ustedes, tratamos de darles lo mejor para que ustedes no salgan con esas cosas." And just when I always been someone who's really analytical and critical and aware, and I took those words into heart and started to reflect on my life. Now I'm like, damn, if I really want to do something with my life, I have to be different. I have to change. And hard part is like growing up in Los Angeles, you have no role models.
Yeah.
That you could look up to.
Yeah.
Right. So Jose Hernandez was someone that I look up to because even though he wasn't from Lake,
yeah,
he was Latino, similar.
Exactly.
Right. So I'm like, okay, I could be someone special and I could achieve my goals.
Yeah.
So I created a roadmap, and I'm like, okay, if I want to play Division I soccer and go pro, what can I do? So I created a roadmap to allow me to visualize the steps needed to achieve those goals. And I started to, achieve those goals little by little. I had to have good grades. I had to play for a good team. I had to play for a good academy, which required me to play down below. I have to send emails. I have to be proactive, not reactive, right? Reactive means waiting. Let's say like if you're struggling in a class, right, in a subject, you wait. Reactive means waiting to get an F to ask for help. Proactive means, okay, I'm struggling. Let me ask for help to prevent from failing this class or getting an F.
Yeah.
So I was always being proactive. And to answer your question, bro, yeah, there's negative people talking in the AV, but at the end of the day, that didn't matter.
Yeah.
Because I believed in myself.
There you go.
I was a dreamer. I dreamed big. And I knew that I had the talent to achieve those dreams. Despite adversity, despite people from my hometown, despite getting injured in my high school in senior year and taking 2 years to recover, I said, okay, this is just a minor setback.
Yeah.
God's telling me, you want this? Here's a challenge. Are you willing to overcome it to achieve your goals and your dreams, right? So you also need faith. You have to believe in yourself. You have to trust yourself, but also have faith that things are going to fall into place, right? Yeah. So like when you started your project, this didn't happen de noche a la mañana. It took time, but you have to trust yourself, your dreams, and you have to trust and have faith that in the long run, things are going to fall into place.
Yep.
Sometimes in life, you want to rush the process. We want to have, that partner ready. You want to have that job, that career, that title.
That house.
The house, right? Yeah. But good things take time.
There you go.
And in order for that to happen, we have to be aware and prepare ourselves, right? And when we are ready, God's going to give us those things.
There you go. Yeah. And just like I would say, we don't really, like you already mentioned that we didn't have a lot of role models that looked like us or even spoke like us. So Jose Hernandez, I didn't know who he was until the movie. Like I was so oblivious about who he was. I saw the movie, like, bro, this guy, like, it's inspirational, you know, like, and I think that's very important as far as like what you're doing currently, because there's other kids underneath you right now looking at who could I aspire to, because sometimes the vision is not there yet for some people. Some people need something to aspire to, someone to aspire to. And sometimes if they don't see some sort of comparison, you know, they have a harder time moving forward on those steps. And I don't know, like once I saw the movie of his journey, I'm like, man, this guy did a lot. Like he did so much. But I also give credit to his wife though. Like his wife, I'm like, bro, where is she at in my life, bro?
Right? That's what I was saying, bro. He's my role model in every single aspect. He's a great father. He's a great husband. Great. Like he's just a visionary, humbled. And I want to surround myself with people like that.
Yeah, there you go.
Right? Like, and that's something like, damn, I want to aspire to be like him, to have his type of family, to raise amazing kids, right? To have an amazing wife who supports you,
100%
is there for you, because that's important.
1000%, bro. I'm like, because she had dreams. Like, I'm not sure how accurate the movie was, because you know that Hollywood always throws in things. But as far as like her inspirations and her dreams, like they came after his, and they came true because she wanted to have her own restaurant and everything. She got it, but it was after his dreams. Like, bro, like she was the backbone of a lot of his actual aspirations to become an astronaut. And then after that, he then went and said, okay, you got me, now I got you, and now the whole family benefits. I'm like, bro, like where is that mindset now? Like we're so individualized now. We're so instant gratification now. We want, like you said, everything. We want it in the moment. We want sporadic, but nothing with an effort behind it. But yeah, I just wanted to give that a shout out to his wife, because I'm like, bro, I saw that movie. I'm like, bro, she's a unicorn. I'm like, bro, it's dry out here in the desert, but it's dry out here right now.
Exactly, bro. And that's my goal. I wish to find a wife like that. Yeah. Right now, my backbone, my foundation is my family, my parents, and hopefully I'm able to find that person, because we all need that person in our life who holds us accountable, right? And exactly. Again, the worst thing you could do is choose the wrong partner. So we have to choose wisely.
A lot of people go off of the image of a person, like the exterior image, but they forget that, like, okay, what does she bring when it comes to the interior? Because she will set certain philosophies, not towards the relationship, but towards the kids, if you guys have kids. And they're literally the ones molding, because half of the time, if you're not working, you know, you're doing something else. You're like, oh, I need to create something so I could support the family in different ways. And she's literally the mentor, you know, like catering to, okay, this is how I want my son to become. This is how my daughter want. But we're losing that right now. We're literally losing the dynamic of everything, which it's sad, because I noticed it in my early 20s. I know you're what,
28.
28, so I'm 36. So we're not that far.
You look 20, bro. You look young.
We're not that far.
You have to give me some tips after this.
We're not that far from, I guess, the ages, but we're not that close either. Because we went to the same high school, but I didn't know you because I had graduated way before you.
What high school?
Little Rock High School,
Little
bro.
High School.
07 on my end. So I'm like way further on yours. What are you like?
2014.
That's wild, bro.
So you graduated with Carlos.
Yep, Carlos Diaz.
So shout out to Carlos. He has a YouTube video, a YouTube channel.
Influencer.
Yeah, and he travels around the country with his
husband.
His husband with RB, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So he's local. He's from the AV.
Great singer.
Great singer as well. He grew up in Lake Los Angeles.
Yeah.
His brother's married to my sister. They're amazing. Family.
And we were also in a band in high school titled Los Cochinos.
So tell me more about Los Cochinos. How did that came to happen?
Yeah, so right when I started playing music, just to keep it short, I started my career in music. I was 15. I've had been playing the trumpet since second or third grade, but I was never really a trumpet player in my head. I'm like, I can't, like, remember, visionary, you have to see it. For you to have discipline, you have to see something further ahead than that same day. Once I started actually listening to music, which was in high school, my freshman year, I think the church that I had gone to at the time, they needed a guitar player. And they're like, oh, we'll get you guitar lessons. But all of a sudden, my mom's like, no, we're going to pay for them. Where were these guitar lessons when I needed them? Like when I was 11 or 12, but all in good time, right? Got to meet my guitar teacher. He puts on a AC/DC cassette tape. in his room. Right when he put it on, push play, I'm like, bro, this is what I want to do. Like I saw it. I'm like, I want to do this. I don't know how to play it, but I want to sound like that. Having that said, that same freshman year, I had maybe 2 or 3 months of playing music. There was always a Cinco de Mayo or a talent contest or some battle of the band, something. My whole freshman year, I'm like, one day I want to play on for the student body, you know, because I heard a band, one of the high school kids there created a band, and they were also in the marching band, so I kind of knew them. They played Maná for the Cinco de Mayo. I'm like, bro, I want to do that next year. Right away, I started putting my band together. Got my friend Joey. He was on the football team with me. And then we would hang out all the time, taught him how to play the bass, taught his neighbor, Jimmy, which we're still friends, how to play guitar. So as I was learning, I was teaching them because of what I wanted to do the following year. And from there, I was looking for singers. And sure and behold, I would ask around like, oh, do you guys know a singer? Do you guys know a singer? Here comes Carlos. I didn't know him at all. Like I just went up to him. Hey, Carlos, I heard you sang. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, you want to try for my band? He's like, all right, cool. Gave him the dress. He showed up. We played a couple songs like, all right, you're in. And that's literally how we started. I was more of, I just want to play music. I wasn't thinking about, oh, I want to become famous or I want to like create records. It was just the momentum of just that vision of that cassette. I'm like, I heard something, I saw something, and I'm like, I want to do it because someone in my high school did it, and now I want to do it even better. So all through high school, sophomore, junior, and my senior year, and even 1 year after, we did the Cinco de Mayo. So like consistently. And then we flew into the ABC. We did it there as well. But that's how me and Carlos kind of got really close because of the music stuff. But yeah, we're like, oh, what are we going to be called? And I was like, bro, I was so young. I was like 14, 15. I was like, Los Cochinos. I was like, all right. Until this day, bro, he gets embarrassed. I was like, bro, remember we were Los Cochinos? Like, he's just laughing, bro. But yeah, Carlos is a great singer, very great singer, very good person. I'm happy that he's out doing his thing, you know, because I knew he was wanting to do entertainment and everything comes in, I guess, in the way that it should. Because even though he's not like a pop star that we see on TV, he's doing really well on like social media. Yeah. So congratulations to Carlos. You know, keep doing your thing, bro.
Yeah, shout out to you, Carlos.
Yeah, we'll have a reunion of Los Cochinos.
And maybe for AV Alta.
Right? You have to invite him, bro. He's always traveling. I'm always hitting him up. I was like, yeah, whenever you're down. He's like, all right. But he's in and out. So it's kind of hard to get him in place in like for a weekend or whatever.
That's true. He's always traveling. When you were going to Little Rock High School, was Miss Bertha already there? She was like a school counselor.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So the reason why I brought her up is because I know earlier on in this session we were talking about Jose Hernandez, and in the movie, in his journey, there's just one teacher that believed in him, right? And she went to his house.
Yeah.
That was the same case with us, my family. So I have two older twin sisters, right? One of them is married with the Carlos brother, and then my other sister is married with the Carlos's brothers. At that time, a really good friend in high school.
Yeah.
So they all, know each other, whatnot. But Miss Bertha, she wasn't even a school counselor. She was something else. But she would help out a lot of documented students, low-income Latinos, and help them get to college. So when she saw my sisters, she was like, estas gemelitas tienen que ir a la universidad. So she went to our house, spoke to our parents, walked us through our process. If they go to school, this is how much money they get. They get FAFSA, grants, scholarships. You might see that tag there, like the price tag, like $60K.
Yeah.
But when you break it down, they could get it covered.
Yeah.
So because of her, a lot of low-income Latinos from Little Rock High School went on to college. And they went to UCLA, right? USC, Riverside, CSUN. And she was the reason why as well my family was able to go to college. So she helped out my twin sisters. Then she helped out me. She helped out Christian, my youngest brother, and then the youngest one, Anthony. She had already left from Little Rock, but she was still, really involved in our lives. So she was really influential. And shout out to Miss Bertha as well, because when we talked about our successes, there's people behind us supporting us, right? There's mentors, our parents, individuals, and she was a big part of it.
Yeah, no, I wish I would have been more into, I guess, school when I was in high school. I was completely the opposite. It was, for me, my journey and when it comes to academics is a little bit different just because I struggled a lot and I didn't see a future in in any type of way, just because I'm an illegal immigrant. I know there's a lot of Hispanics here that are first generation that mainly speak Spanish, but I was the immigrant that had no future at all because I'm in limbo, or I was in limbo. And so that for me just kind of, I stunted myself, like from actually wanting to pursue anything academia, like when it came to literature, mathematics, anything that had to do with school, I kind of just shunned it out. I just pushed it because I didn't, once again, it's just the vision. If you don't see the vision, why are you pushing forward, on a day to day? And for me it was like we said, we're hardworking. So my ethic of hard work just kept the momentum going of just, I need to figure things out, but I never sought out academia. So I did go to AV AV college, but it was more of just you go to AV, or you go to the college, or you start working after high school. That's kind of where my parents were at. I'm like, all right, I'll go to, AVC. And me personally, I didn't start reading until I was my freshman year in college. Like, I was really bad at reading throughout high school.
I feel you.
Like I was terrible at reading. I was like a robot, bro. Like I was that kid that if you called me out to read, I'm like, bro, I'll go somewhere, send me to the security office. I don't want to do this shit. Like I was bad, but it wasn't until I met when my college professor, Miss Oliveira, she was so enthusiastic about literature, the way that she spoke about it. Once again, visionary. It's just like we need mentors, like you said, even if they're not seeking out that mentorship for you. It's just the aspiration of just seeing them, just feeling their enthusiasm on whatever craft they're really good at. And sure enough, she picked out a book. She explained it really well. I'm like, okay, I gotta read this. Finally, I read a book. All through my whole life, it happened in college, but for me, it was just that constant, okay, what am I going to do with my life? Because I didn't have my social security number. I didn't have my driver's license. I didn't have a California ID, not until I was 24. So I was literally driving illegally. I was going to AVC, not through the grants or through whatever, anything that they had to offer, I wasn't able to get because I was literally not a part of the system. So I would crash all my courses. I would get there at 6:30 in the morning. I was always the last. I was never priority to actually get into a class because I didn't have a social. So I would basically 6:30 in the morning. Okay, what do I need? Biology. Okay, here's the list of all the teachers. Doesn't matter what professor it is, bad or good, reviews on whatever website I would always look at. I'm like, I need to get this class. So 4 years it took me to get my AA. Took a lot longer just because I would always have to crash classes. Sometimes I would only get one class. Sometimes I would only get two classes. But that's kind of how my semesters went through. But it was just the momentum and also the announcement of other people that I saw in college allowed me to understand, okay, like academia is not what we think it is. I think what we perceive academia as like you get a degree and you get a good job. For me, it was like you get a degree not to get the good job, but to allow yourself to understand a lot more. Like for me, it's like you go to school to learn, or you go to school to teach yourself how to learn. Not you go to school to memorize anything. Like because everything's memorization. That doesn't make you smart. Just makes you a parrot. Mm-hmm. So I saw everything a little bit different. Like the vision of academia, the vision of literature is a lot differently now. But once again, the mentors that we got were far and few, like Jose Hernandez. Where was he in high school? If I would have seen him at an auditorium or something, ceremony, something like, oh shit, I see this kid or I see this guy, like, okay, let's push forward in math or whatever. Maybe I would have been an engineer. Who would have known? But yeah, I think what you're doing now, it's amazing. Like you're a public speaker, with an accent too. So yes. It's even better.
And I'm proud. I know Jose Hernandez, yesterday after the Q&A, they told him, when you look at yourself in the mirror, who do you see? And he said, Pepito.
Oh, shit.
and then I was like, this is why I'm Panchito. My real name is Francisco.
Okay.
But I've been called Panchito since I was little, right? Okay. That's my nickname, so se me quedó.
Yeah.
But however, I created that name in spaces that were not meant for us. So when I'm the only low-income Latino in a space around white people who are wealthy, Panchito keeps me rooted in my roots, right? Keeps me grounded. I'm like, yeah, I'm Panchito from Los Angeles. I'm Panchito that has, his roots from Colima, Mexico.
Yeah.
This is who I am, and I'm here.
Yeah.
And I'm not here because of coincidence. I'm here because I worked really hard.
Yes.
And I deserve to be in this space,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And to answer your question regarding academia and all that stuff, I'm a firm believer that schooling, education are two different things. Education is universal. It's never ending. We learn through dialoguing, exchanging ideas. We learn by traveling. We learn by reading books, right? It's a lot of different ways of how we can learn and reflect. Schooling, like you said, we need school for careers, to prepare us for certain careers, right? Like I went to school to get my BA, my MA, and that prepared me to be in this role. But oftentimes our community doesn't value their knowledge. And no, yo no fui a la escuela, no soy tan educado como ese señor. No, ¿cómo que no estás educado? Yeah, you're street smart. Yeah, I think we talked about it in other podcasts. If you put a PhD student in the forest and you put a low-income Latino, in the forest or documented Latino, who's going to survive? We are.
Yeah.
Because we're street smart. We know how to survive. We have those tools.
Yeah.
Right? And that's knowledge.
Yeah.
That's knowledge that could pass on into our community. So when we are street smart and book smart, damn, bro, that's power right there.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful. And so I hate it when our community suppresses their knowledge.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you could be way smarter than someone who's quote unquote educated. Educated doesn't mean having a PhD or a master. Educated means having the right values, having the right work ethic, right? Having integrity, respect. And that starts in the households. And our culture, we have that. We have that. They teach us how to be family oriented, how to be humble, how to respect people, right? We also crack jokes here and there.
Yeah.
And so I like to advocate for my people, for our people, because they tend to undermine themselves, especially in this country, when they're told, no, you're just an employee. You don't have a voice. You don't have a say. And then they shut down, right? Because they're like, well, I'm a documenter, like I don't have a voice. I don't have power. But it's like, no, we're supposed to stand up for them. And that's what I'm really passionate about, supporting our people.
Yeah.
And being, if I can, and advocate for them.
Yeah.
Because, man, we have so much knowledge.
Yeah.
We have so much, like, Ramsey, you mentioned, este es mi gallo, in your podcast.
Mi gallo.
Este es mi
Right.
gallo.
I'm right here, by the way.
Look at his cheeks, bro. Look at his cheeks.
and that reminds me, too, of my families when they'll be like, when we score a goal, este es mi gallo.
Yeah.
And it's like, when you digest it, it's like, oh, that's my warrior. That's like my kid.
Yeah,
It feels good when you're being called that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That compliment, bro.
A compliment.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I know we're going off topic here, but yeah, I'm really passionate about supporting each other and advocating for my community and letting us know, our people know that we are knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And that we are worthy.
Yeah.
And that a paper doesn't categorize us who we are as people, So it's important for us to unite as a community, support each other, value ourselves, understand that we're meant to do great things in life.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that you had mentioned about being in front of like Caucasian people, as far as like you feeling like an equal, as far as like I do belong here, I do want to say one thing. The idea of being in front of another race, as far as like how we were brought up, like we put tiers on people. Like every race has a tier for every race, right? Oh, you're Caucasian, that means you're privileged, or you're blah 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 blah. But you're an example like Jose Hernandez is. It's possible, to get there. You just have to put the effort, that discipline to get into those rooms, but you yourself have to do it. We don't have the generations of family members being in law firms, or family members being engineers, or family members being some sort of business, but it is more than possible to get into those doors if you're willing to go through that path. And even if it's not me or you, we're creating a path for other people to follow into. And that's something that I do want to announce, because we're right now we want to be exclusive to everybody, but unfortunately we're being exclusive for the wrong reasons. I don't care what skin color you are. I don't care that you're Latino. I don't care if you're Black. I don't care if you're Asian. I don't care if you're a woman. I don't care about any of that. Are you hardworking? Are you disciplined? Are you a good person? Do you have values? Do you have morals? do you have a form of wisdom that you could announce to the public so that you could be not only a role model to your family, but to the community? And that's kind of what I want to keep pushing through, because like I said, we want exclusivity, but I don't want exclusivity for the wrong reasons, because that within itself becomes a trend. And I don't want us to become a trend. I want us to become a part of the system. You know, we always say, oh, it's if only if there is a minority in Senate, or if only a minority was a president, or if only more minorities were police officers, then go do it. Go. It's possible. You have to go into those settings to create change. But I don't want it to create it with just, oh, you're a minority, you're going to get into this group because we need you. It's a part of whatever, you know, policy that we have. I don't want that for us, because once again, it becomes a trend, and those policies could go away at any time too.
Exactly.
But those are just my 2 cents, because you had brought that up as far as like you being in a room.
And I think for us, we need to acknowledge that we're there because we belong there, and because we put in the work to be there, right? And it's really important to understand that, like you said, support each other. For me, I don't care if you're another ethnicity. I care about, are you really about what you're saying, walking out talk? If I see a youth who's really driven, motivated to succeed, I'm going to support them, right? Because I see their drive, their ganas to achieve their goals, regardless of like whether you're wealthy or low income, or you're Latino or African American, right? Because at the end of the day, we have to support each other. And it's about supporting and collaborating with one another, regardless of ethnicities. But also acknowledge that I'm also privileged because I'm a male, quote unquote. I'm also educated with a degree in Michigan, right? I'm in this position right now as a head of partnerships. So with that also comes a lot of privilege. So how can I use my privilege to advocate and support younger people, right? So even though this is interesting, right? Because I might be privileged in some ways, but also in other ways I might not, right?
That goes for everybody, though. I think that idea of privilege is it's a fact. There are privileges in everything. You know, if you're pretty, there's pretty privilege. You know, I don't get pretty privilege. If I was hot, bro, like this would go viral. That's just a privilege, right? There are privileges, and we should acknowledge those privileges, but that shouldn't stunt anybody from doing what they want to do. And that's kind of my concept of the hardworking ethics of not only Hispanics, but everybody. You could be white, you could be in the same Lake LA setting, bro. Like there's so many Caucasians in Lake LA too. They're struggling just as much as we are. But I think the concept of like, oh, because you're white and you're poor, you're still more privileged than me. I'm like, no, bro, I'm an immigrant. I still don't feel that you're privileged because you're going through the same experience right now. You might have a drug addict across the street, you know, doping up, or you might have gang members, you know, trying to recruit you just as much as me. Where is this privilege coming in? You know, maybe if you were rich, then I'll be like, oh, there's a privilege. You know, you come in from money, but if you're coming in from the same location, you know, the same experience, that's kind of where it plateaus for me. It's like, okay, we're in an even playing field. And like you said, we should be helping each other out and not dividing each other, because I think there's too many divisions right now because of the idea that because I am a man, there's a privilege. A privilege of what? If there's a woman, I could beat her in jiu-jitsu. It's not going to make me more money. I'm going to be more of like, okay, I'm privileged enough to be healthy. And if I see a woman in trouble, I know I'm privileged enough that I have muscle mass that I could protect her. But I'm not going to take away anything else. She's a human. I'm a human. That's kind of where my brain always goes into. Like, I don't want to keep the divisions and separations right now. It's very obvious because there's too many politics right now, unfortunately, because, you know, the elections. And it's getting really bad. You know, it's getting very, very bad where we are being divided, unfortunately, even in the Hispanic community. You know, if you don't speak Spanish, you're not Mexican. I'm like, what is that? I'm like, what? I was like, what is that, bro? No, you are Mexican. Or the Latino that wants to be called Latino X. I'm like, bro, what's going on? Why are you putting another label on who you are? Just because you want to be about another group? because you didn't feel like you were too Mexican or too Hispanic enough. That's kind of what I mean. Like there's too many divisions right now that I just don't allow it to seep into me, because I don't like feel like the idea of what we are becoming, it's too separated, like we're too divided. At the end of the day, it's one race, the human race, and that's it. I think Hispanics haven't had mentors like Jose Hernandez, and I think it's great. I think that is amazing. I think having a Panchito in the AV is amazing. So now what I want to do is like, okay, we are now creating this momentum. Let's keep going. But I don't ever want to hear like, oh, it's because he's Hispanic that's why he's in the position that he's in right now. No, I want to hear he went through experience of life of not having things. His parents did things for him that, allowed him to keep going when he felt like he couldn't go, or his siblings pushed him through. You're like, that's a human experience. That's kind of what I want to hear. Not the idea like, oh, he's Hispanic, give him a title. That's it. Like, no, bro, that's not, because it's getting diluted. Everything's getting diluted right now. Like, I don't want your title to get to that point. Like, there is a place and a time for everything, and you did your time, and now you're at the place that you need to be right now because of who you are. Yeah.
It's about trusting the process, right? And trusting the preparation. Like, it's what I always tell kids. Every single day, do your best, and God will do the rest.
You said that on my podcast. I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that.
And we have to control the controllables.
Yeah.
Right? You can't control, like, right now, kids are trying out for our academy. And in December, folks had to try out for our first team. And I always tell our athletes, control the controllables. What does that mean? You could control the way you perform on the field, but you can't control whether the coach likes you or not. So at the end of the day, you have to be proud of the effort that you gave inside the field. And that same concept applies in life. You can't control whether the girl likes you or not. You can't control whether you get hired or not. But you could control the way you behave, the way you act, and what you do things in life, right? Just focus on doing things with excellence, con ganas, and do your best, right? And las cosas se van a acomodar a su debido tiempo.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree 100%. The idea of, I guess you would want to call it manifesting your destiny. You're announcing your wants through your actions. Like the seeking of like, I want to follow through with my dreams so that my dreams could catch up to me. That kind of thing. And the same thing that we were talking in the beginning about. We want to create a person that we ourselves are attracted to, so that we could then attract the opposite sex that is mirroring us, right?
Exactly. It's like, who do you want as a partner, right? Give me the descriptions. Are you that person?
Exactly.
If not, become it. Right. No, but you're right. You're spot on. And I feel like life is beautiful. It's full of journeys. We all go through setbacks. We all go through failures, but that's part of the process, right? Like right now, people see me here, but they don't know what I went through. I failed so many times. I got rejected so many times. There's a lot of times where I was struggling to, eat, right? I remember when I was an intern in DC, I had to save up money to pay for that internship. So I was out there, and I remember I had only $80 in my account. And at that time, my goal was to get my master's at Harvard. So I'm like, let me go to Harvard. I checked the flights. It was $80. So I'm like, I'm going to do it. So I reached out to Harvard admissions and said, hey, I'm going out there to visit. Can I please meet up with the rep? And then my mentor, Dr. Luis Rodriguez, he also graduated from Harvard. He allowed me to also connect with other faculty members there. So I went. And I met up with them. I'm like, I want to go to Harvard next year. What can I do? This one is what I'm doing. So I ended up, talking to them. And then I flew back to DC because I was interning there. And when I arrived, my supervisor, she put me into, she's like, Panchito, come to my office. So I went inside and she was like, have you been eating? Are you struggling financially? I'm like, no. She's like, don't lie. I could see you. You're not going out to get lunch anymore. You're always inside the office. And I'm like, let's do this. And she gave me some money. And she's like, I don't want it back. Go home, get groceries, cook, and come back tomorrow morning. Right? So I came back tomorrow morning to work. But again, it's about along your journey, you are going to have people who are going to support you. And I share this because I didn't get accepted to Harvard. I got denied for one reason, because typically when you get your master's at Harvard, they want people with work experience, at least 3 years or more work experience. I was just coming up from undergrad, and when I was talking to them, that's the reason. That's what the reason they gave me. However, I was a guest speaker, and I was out there, and I was talking about the power of storytelling, right? Because it's really important for us to share our stories, because there's people in our communities around us who might relate to that story. And because we said those things, now they believe in themselves,
Yep.
right? In their goals.
Yep.
So like all of us, we have to share our stories.
Mhm.
And to that, empower you to dream big and maybe follow our paths,
Mhm.
right? Because it's important to avoid those mistakes that can be avoided through mentorship,
Mhm.
right? So don't wait to make those same mistakes other people did. Learn from them, so avoid them, and that's gonna help you level up quicker.
Yeah.
And increase your
Mhm.
your chances of achieving whatever goals you have set for yourself.
No, I do agree on exactly on what you're saying. Now, as far as AV Alta, are there any announcements as far as any updates as far as like what you guys now have going on? I know we kind of give when we did the podcast with the Shade of Brown, you guys haven't done the ceremony at the actual stadium yet. So, as far as like that, now going into the AV Alta, if you could kind of give us an update on it.
Yes, for AV Alta, we already had our name and logo reveal on May 17. In the summer, in August, we had the groundbreaking of the stadium. As we're speaking right now, folks are working really hard to convert the current baseball stadium into a soccer-specific stadium. And then on October 18, we're going to have an event at ABC Theater where we are going to announce our official home jersey.
Nice.
I already saw it. It's dope. I
Sick.
think the community is going to like it and embrace it.
Okay.
It's so meaningful.
Okay.
And then in December, we're going to have open tryouts and start announcing our players for next season. So things are speeding up right now. In September, we are also having open tryouts for our academy. Our academy is going to start in October. That's going to start first before our first team. So that's pretty much the most important events are going on right now with AV Alta. And then if you haven't seen our social media, follow us. We have a really young, diverse group of marketing team that are local, who are doing a phenomenal job. For example, they recorded some videos, some reels in Lake Los Angeles with the horse.
Yeah, I saw.
Shout out to Francisco Parra.
That was dope.
That's dope. And again, we're trying to represent the Antelope Valley, right? The Antelope Valley is more than just a soccer ball. There's people who embrace that culture, that cultura, right? That like rancho style vibes, right?
Like
Los
a
pajaretes, charros, yeah. In Little Rock and Lake, people embrace that. That's how they do, right? That's who they are. So we kind of like highlighted that in those reels. Then we have folks who love to sing, right? Who love the rap culture, and we're doing some things with them. We have folks who they just love country music, and we're trying to do things with them as well. So we really are trying to kind of provide a narrative that this is the AV. This is the AV, right? It's not just Latino, it's African American, it's Asians, it's white. Like, this is who we are, and together we are AV Alta, because AV Alta wants to represent the Antelope Valley, not just a certain group of people.
Yeah, I agree with that. And did you actually see it being the way that it's going right now? Because it's growing, and it's growing quick, like from the actual, like the supporter group to what you're saying, the people that are doing the branding and the marketing, and then we have the people that are coming in and putting their time to do the cheering, like William. I have friends that are a part of the supporter group too. They're letting me know what's going on and everything. And did you actually see it? Actually, the way that it's going, it's a positive. It's very positive. But did you actually see it when you first started, even before the logo?
Yes, because I believe in the AV, and I know that this is soccer community, but also the way things have happened so far, everything has been so organic. Like the people who has been part of our staff, the way we recruited them was so organic. Like just Marcos, we met them. William Ortiz met him outside our office. Dude, can you record some stuff for us? And then now he's part of our team, right? Before him, it was Eric. He went to our official launch party in October of last year, and he was recording some pieces, and then it was great content. So then I was, hey, Eric, do you mind like working for us, bro, and do more content for us? Bailey too from Lake Los Angeles. She's a part of marketing. Wesley is so creative. All this amazing idea. He's from the AV. Our sales teams, most of them are from the 661 area. Mamadou, he has experience working in this industry, right? Our head of merch as well. So you have all this team that works at AV Alta that are phenomenal, amazing, driven, and passionate in making this work, right? Then you have our supporter group.
Yep.
But also, the cities, they're being super supportive. The city of Lancaster, this wouldn't be this AV Alta wouldn't happen without them. Our academy wouldn't be possible without the city of Palmdale. So again, you can't connect the dots looking forward, only backwards. And when you take the time to reflect, you understand why things happened the way they did. So going back to AV Alta, John had an idea. He was passing by the freeway. He saw a stadium, cold call city. He met 2 people before me. He met me. And then I introduced him to other people, right? And then along that journey, I was like, this is going to be successful. Because everyone had the same comments. You want civic pride and want more opportunities for youth. And then what reassured me that this is going to be successful was our launch party when we had over 600 people at Don Sal.
Yeah.
There was no logo, nothing. We were just announcing that USL was going to bring a professional soccer team to the Antelope Valley.
Yeah. I mean, that happened before you guys had a logo. And I saw pictures. I wasn't there, but I saw like all the social media posts and everything. And like, dang, this is happening already, even without a logo yet.
Yeah.
And then when you guys presented the logo at the Lancaster Boulevard, the outcome was crazy. And like Irvin said, the outcome is super, super positive. It's grown so much already as it is. And it's super beautiful, super hyped. I'm excited. I'm sure you are, Pacheco.
Bro, I'm super excited because in order to start a project, you have to believe in yourself, in the project, right?
Yeah.
And like I told John, we are going to have setbacks.
Yeah.
We have to embrace them and enjoy them because it's part of the journey.
It's part of the journey. Enjoy the journey.
Enjoy that journey.
Yeah.
So I've been enjoying the journey since day one when I met John, and when it was just an idea to now, having the actual logo, having the full staff, and assigning players, and now hopefully starting our season next year. But it's amazing, and this AV Alta means so much to me because it's not about me, it's about the community.
Yeah.
And, for those that know me, know that I truly love the AV.
Yeah.
And that's why I came back.
I honestly like the concept that because of this, I'm seeing communities built within the community, like the supporter group. I see the running club and I see the marketing team. They're probably getting together too, which they might not have gone together if it wasn't for you guys. So just the idea that the community is creating other little communities to support the actual main community, but they're finding their community of like their niche, right? The idea like, oh, I like to run, so let me go run with these guys because they're a part of this group. Or I like to cheerlead, and basically be a part of the drumming, the drum line, or whatever, that kind of thing. So I think it's amazing that you're just this concept alone, because everybody is always saying there's nothing to do in the AV. There's nothing to do in the AV. Bro, there's so much to do in the AV. You just have to find your community as far as like within the actual AV. And I think this within itself, it has already shown already, because I didn't know most of the people that I now know because of you guys, because of the shade of brown. Like I've gotten to know people that have recognized you and recognized me through the shade. And then of course people are now they're connecting dots, right? And they're like, oh, this guy or this girl. I'm like, yeah, but where were you last year? You're probably down the street. I didn't even know you. So I think it's amazing that we are creating something that is, like you said, it's not about the soccer ball. It's about like connecting people again, because we were losing that through COVID, right? Everybody was in the house. Everybody was, oh, don't you sneeze. So social distancing, that kind of thing. So now the concept is like, okay, we're cool. Like everyone's now coming together again. Everyone's socializing, which is very important for everybody. Us as human beings, we shouldn't be alone. I think that's the biggest unfortunate diagnosis of depression, that when people start to feel depressed, they start to isolate, and unfortunately, the isolation makes it worse. When they should actually be outside, maybe with a group of friends. Like, okay, let's get that momentum going. Let me give you my energy. And I think because we are so, once again, divided, it's just amazing that this soccer team that hasn't even played a game yet, like literally hasn't played any games, has been able to have this type of impact towards our community. And I see it, man, this freeways, Jesus, like, where's this traffic coming from?
Yes. And the IB just growing and expanding.
Fast. It's growing quick.
Exactly.
Which is good. It's good and it's bad. I don't like the traffic. That's the only bad thing.
I hate the traffic. But going back to what this team is creating, right? Shout out to Kimberly Correa.
Mm-hmm.
She had this idea, so I was like, dude, let's do it. So now we started AV Runs with Faith.
Very cool.
It's a faith-based running club where we run in the morning at 6 a.m. every Tuesday.
Very cool.
And then we just read the Bible and then just pray.
Very
and then
cool.
we gotta go and start off the day.
There you go. There you go. I had him run half a mile.
Yeah.
Bro.
I prayed for him.
Bro, anyone's welcome. Anyone, beginners, amateurs, pros, like we just want to get people out there to live a healthy lifestyle.
There you go.
Right? And then regarding being alone, it's important to embrace it sometimes, right? Like, believe it or not, I embrace my solitude. I love being by myself.
That's one thing, because I am exactly the same way. I love being alone, but it's not good to be alone all the time. It's good to allow yourself to know that you're okay being alone, but it's not okay to be alone.
I agree.
Yeah, because I'm introvert. I don't go out. Kim always invites me to go run with you guys. Liz invites me to the supporter group. William has invited me too. Like, there's people inviting me to do everything that you guys are doing, but I don't. It's like it's me. That's why I don't like to embrace loneliness too much, because it could be also a hindrance on your own person. Because I don't know who I'm going to meet at the runners group or at the supporters group or maybe the marketing group, right? There should be cool people there. Like, oh, like, I didn't know you were around this place and now we're friends. But yeah, no, I agree. Like, it's good to allow yourself to have solitude, but not to be lonely.
Yeah, sure. Balance. There's a difference between being lonely and solitude, right? And there's this book called The 8 Rules of Love by Jay Shetty. He explains it. Before loving someone else, you have to love yourself and embrace yourself and be okay being by yourself.
Yep.
Right? So it's important. I'm not saying that because we are social creatures. We all need, to socialize and a partner, right? But a lot of folks who are sometimes right now, maybe they're going through a singleness, rather single. They're like rushing, I want a partner.
Yeah.
And sometimes they get a partner because they don't want to be alone.
Exactly.
And they just rush in the process, right? It's like, no, take your time. Like, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses, right? Like, what do you like to do on your own time when you're by yourself, right? Read a book, meditate, journal. Yeah. Truly take time to truly understand yourself. Yeah. How do you get to understand yourself? By having solitude time, by having time for yourself, right? In my case, like, I'm always active, right? Meeting a lot of people, going to all these events. So when I get home, I want me time. And I take that time to just reflect on my journey, read a book, and journal. And in the morning, sometimes I meditate. But when I meditate, I stay grounded. I try to live in the present, and I try to truly be grateful where I'm at, because sometimes people like us, we're really ambitious, have all these goals, that we forget to live in the moment and embrace it, because you're so focused on the end goal. Yeah. Right. Yeah. so meditating has helped me a lot to stay rooted in the moment, but also live life with so much abundance and gratitude.
There you go. Very good. And how's the running going? Because I've been wanting to go run for the longest time, but bro, my knees are bad. Like, that's the one thing that I've ran at least 3 marathons so far.
You ran 3 marathons?
Yeah.
Bro, ya me ganaste. Yo tengo 0.
So for me, it's almost like preserving what I can for my knees, because I do a lot of videography, and I'm on my feet all the time. And there are times like, bro, like I like my knees are done. And every now and then I'll go to the gym and I'll run maybe 2 or 3 miles, but I could tell, like, bro, like, you gotta, either find a different way, because I think that was my way of meditating, like allowing myself to go run where you guys ran at by Pear Blossom.
Yeah.
That was my spot. So I would run there all the time, but it was always by myself, no headphones, just run. And it was a good way, just like how you do in the morning, reflect, stay grounded, you're in the present. And I'm like, okay, because running for me was just rhythm, like you're in the rhythm of your breathing. You're the rhythm of like, okay, it's an uphill or it's a downhill. So you're thinking in the moment, you're focused in the moment. Of course, thoughts come in your head of the day to day, but it's a great way for me to like stay in the moment because I'm doing something that my breathing is just that constant. I'm like, okay, find that beat. But now it's almost like, bro, like my knees are just like, bro, like every single time I feel it, I'm like, God, like I'm doing, I follow this Instagram. It's called Knees Over Toes. So I'm kind of doing a lot of his exercises to strengthen my legs and knees. And I'm just trying to figure out a way where I'm like, okay, I want to keep doing it, but I can't push it anymore. Like I'm like, in my head, I'm like, maybe one more marathon. But after the 12th mile, I'm like, bro, I'm like walking like a viejito. Like it's just like my legs won't extend anymore. Like they get like very like literally an old person. I'm like,
Okay.
after 12 miles, I'm like, bro, like, okay, I have to figure this out, or I have to chill. Like I have to find another way to like get into that moment that I was once into.
Exactly. Know your body,
Mhm.
right? And know your limits. When it comes down to running, everyone has a different journey, different pace. I haven't run a marathon.
Mhm.
I want to. I'm running a half marathon in November with some members of our supporter group
Where?
at Joshua National Park
Oh, okay.
out
Nice.
there in Coachella Valley.
Nice. I was just out there.
I've never been to that park because it's a lot of Joshua trees in Lake Lake.
It's literally Josh. It's
Right?
literally like a
So it's like,
the
bro,
same
same views.
Yeah.
Just different name.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to go to run.
What is it? 13? 12
It's
miles?
13 miles. Yeah, this will be my third half marathon.
Okay.
So I'm ready. I think I'm ready for the marathon.
Okay.
But I do it more because it's important to take care of our mind,
Yeah.
our body, and our soul.
Yeah.
Right. And now that I don't play competitive soccer,
Mhm.
a way to lay out that competitiveness is by running.
Mhm.
Right. And like I said, it's so much peaceful when you run with the earphones, just enjoying the sounds of the surroundings, right? Like
Yeah.
the air, the birds, and just focusing on taking one step at a time.
Yeah.
But it's really important to know your limits.
Yeah.
Like in your case, if your body's telling you, hey, stop,
Yeah.
you have to stop, right?
Yeah.
And I'm saying this because when I was at the airport, I met this old guy. He looked like he was 55, right? And we're talking. He was sitting right next to me, and I like talking a lot, but this guy talked more than me. And he became a mentor too. And we were talking, and he was so full of joy.
Uh-huh.
So I asked him, "How old are you?" And he was like, "Son, I'm 80." I'm like, "You're 80? Like, you look like you're 55. Like,
Wow.
what is your secret recipe?" And he was like, "Son, always face life with a smile
There you go.
because you're always gonna have issues, right? But it's part of it. They come and go. So just confront them with a smile. Wake
Mhm.
up every single day happy to start a new day,
There you go.
right? And 2, live a healthy life. For me, I can only run 1 mile, but I run it Monday to Friday. And 3, do things that bring you joy because that keeps you young.
Yep.
I'm retired, he said, and I love volunteering. I love mentoring kids, mentoring people. So that's what I do. That satisfies, like that feeds my soul,
Mhm.
and that keeps me young.
Mm.
And I'm like, wow, that's impactful.
Yeah.
Right. So now I try to follow those recipes.
Yeah,
I try
the
to.
mind is powerful, man. Like I've seen people with the negative mindset and they're always sick because their mind isn't there. Like, oh, what's wrong with me? You eat better than me. You don't drink soda, but for some reason you're sick. It's your mind, like you said. Wake up in a positive and not in a negative. Gratitude is very important. Regardless of where you're at in your life. Like we might want things to be the way that we want them to be, but maybe it's not what was meant to be. Because we never know. Like we might attract negative people because of the things we have or the things we wish we had. And but no, I do agree on those affirmations. It's very important to stay active, do the things you love doing. I don't have days off. Like even today in the morning, I struggled to wake up, bro, because I work every day. Like I'll work after this, I'll work tomorrow, I'll work Monday, every day. But the only reason I'm doing it is because I love doing it. You know, even though sometimes I go overboard. I do agree. There are times I'm like, oh, you got to chill. You got to take a vacation, or you have to take at least a weekend off. Far and a few, but I do love it.
Do you think that you were programmed that way? Because our ancestors, our parents, they work a lot as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I do believe that in some way I was programmed, you know, in the idea that this is what you need to do. This is what your life is. But now that I'm actually getting to where I want to be, I'm happy that I've gone to meet good people around me. You know, like I've gone to meet Rams through the shade of brown. I have a good friend, Sarah. She's probably the only person that I do hang out with outside of the actual studio. And I think it's just because we're the opposite, right? She likes to go and do stuff that I would normally wouldn't do, but it's not like we're going to clubs or anything. She just knows certain hiking trails that I wouldn't have looked up, you know, like, oh, she's really into it, but I like being outside. So it kind of like puts hand in hand. Mm-hmm. And I think learning from other people, or the people that I've been bringing in my life, and I've learned the hard way too. I brought in some negative people in my life too. I'm not going to lie. Having this studio has attractive negativity as well.
And I've called you out on a couple.
Yeah, he's one of them. But it's those experiences, right? You have to learn through experiences, because I'm a human. I'm going to make mistakes, and the good ones I'm going to take in just as the bad ones. And like I said, Sarah, she's been a really great friend of mine, and we put each other in check. You know, like it's just one of
Shout out to Sarah.
One day she'll actually come on the pod. I have to keep shouting her out. Man, this girl is just like every year since I've actually started my podcast, which is about 7 years ago. She was behind the scenes, like Rams. She would do the switcher for me. And every year I'm like, bro, this is a biography. You know, this is not just a podcast. I want you to be a part of it. One day I'm going to get married. I'm not going to be able to talk to you no more. You know, those boundaries are right there, bro. Vice versa. When she gets married, I'm not going to be able to talk to her as much, or we're not going to go Josh Retreat. We're not going to go to San Francisco. We're not going to be able to do that stuff because, you know, we have limitations now, you know, like it is what it is, just the life, right? But it's just one of those things I like doing what we're doing now, which is the conversation, the format of the podcast, because there's no distractions, you know? Actually, I could talk to you. I kind of knew about you because of the podcast, but I didn't know you. So I'm like, this is my chance of actually, one, getting to know Panchito, getting to know his story, and also allowing people to get to know him the way that I'm getting to know you as right now. Yeah, it's about the AV Alta. Cool, but I also want to know who Panchito is, because like we said, it's the story that gravitates towards people's minds and hearts, and it's something that I think a lot of companies are not really looking at. They're really pushing the marketing, but not the branding.
Yes.
What is the branding? Okay, who are these people? And they're just going off of the colors, they're going off of the look, they're going off of the style, but who is it connecting with? Nobody. So the branding is more important than marketing. So the branding will allow the marketing to excel, but without the branding, there's nothing. But yeah, man, I'm just happy that you're here. I'm going to cut it short because I know we all have stuff to do. I know Rams, thank you for coming in and helping out. I know we all have work, and Panchito, I'm pretty sure you're a busy man. You're probably going to go. You're going to go meet the senator or something.
But I do want to acknowledge you and you guys for allowing me to be in this space as well. It's always an honor just connecting and collaborating with folks like you guys. But you mentioned something early on that you talked about being present, right? And that's not really bad in texting or responding back on social media, because I'm always around people, and I try to be present. I hate it when I'm talking to someone, I'm looking at my phone, right? Or respond back to a message. I respond back to a message when I'm by myself, which is typically in the mornings or in the afternoons before bed, right? And I just want to tell people that don't, you know, it's not because I am avoiding you.
No, I get it.
I like to be present, and I would challenge you to also be present.
Yeah.
Like, stay away from your phones when you're going on a date, when you're talking to friends.
Yeah.
Like, be fully present, because, you know, tomorrow, that interaction, like right now, tomorrow, this would just be an experience. It would be just, you know, un recuerdo.
Yeah. We're just renting time. That's it. Mm-hmm. It's not forever. And I think that's a very important that people that understand. I'm the same way. It took me like a week, 2 weeks to call you.
Yeah.
you send me a message, it's literally just like you. Like I'm not a texting guy either. I'm more of a calling. If I'm going to talk to you, I want to hear your voice. You know, like I could have texted you when you had given me your cell number, but I'm like, nah, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait until it's right moment. I'm always like you. I'm always around people. I'm always trying to figure out things. I'm always trying to figure out either for my clients or for my employees or for the shade of brown or for something's always going around that my mind is always, it's literally dedicated at the moment for that. So when you sent me your cell number, it was in the morning. I'm like, okay, it's not time yet. Let me figure it. It will come when it comes. And luckily, when I called you, you had like maybe a couple of minutes because you were in Texas, I believe.
Yeah,
you're coming
airport.
back.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, bro, you're everywhere now. You're in Texas. You moved. I got you too late, bro. You got too famous.
No.
But yeah, no, I do agree on the presence. Like we have to find a way where we have to set boundaries and limitations for the cell phone, because that's something that it's a tool that we should be using, but in a good way. And right now it's kind of just taking away that human connection between one another. It should be bringing us together, but for some reason it's driving us apart. Rams, if there's any statements, any questions from Ms. Panchito before we end it?
I love what you're doing, bro. You know, it's a beautiful thing. And like I keep saying over and over, because I'm genuinely am excited. And it's a beautiful thing. I've been living here basically almost my whole life, you know, and coming from a desert. I'm a desert kid, you know. I'm sure we all are.
Yeah.
Three of us here, you know, we're desert
That's how we
kids.
stay young, bro.
Yeah, but now like this, how much the AV has grown, it doesn't feel much like a desert anymore. It still is, but it's like a community now within the desert. Like we talked a lot about community stuff going around, and when you find your community, you find things to do now. You know, being out in the desert, like Irvin said, there's not much to do around here. But when you find your community, there's always something to do. You know,
Always something to do.
and that's what I find beautiful. Yeah, those are my words.
That's what you conclude with that. That was well said.
Yeah. I want to actually announce that one day I'll have Jose Hernandez on the pod. That's that would be a great one.
That's what I wanted to say
speak into
too.
existence.
Saying things out
Yeah.
in physical, you know, saying it out loud. Yeah, I solely believe in that.
Because I think I know my podcast isn't as big just because I'm not as consistent as the Shade of Brown, but it's one of those things that I don't want to force my podcast either. Like I do my podcast when I find someone that's genuine, someone that I could connect with, someone that has a great story. That's who I'm seeking. You know, like it doesn't have to be someone of luxury. It doesn't have to be someone with a career of that magnitude that will inspire millions. I'm like, no, I'm curious. I want to. If you're a good person, I want you on the podcast. And I think he's one of those guys. I'm like, bro, like it would be amazing. Like he would be like, I got questions for you, guy.
Yeah.
Si pasa por tu mente, pasa por tu vida.
There you go.
You know, it's
Another bar.
so it will happen.
Yeah. Panchito has to write a book now.
Yeah.
He has like quotes. He has so many quotes, bro.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for coming in.
The pleasure was mine, bro.
And if there's any other announcements, feel free to let me know. Maybe we could do an updated one. You're always welcome at the studio. I know I'm fairly busy, but if there's any way that I can help you guys in, regardless when it comes to photography or videography, always hit me up. Don't feel scared. You know, like if there's a yes, it's for a reason. You know, like okay, cool, it's the time. But if it's no, it's literally because I'm dying. I'm like, bro, I need a day off.
Bro, remember to have a days off. You know, for us Latinos, we work so much. Our parents, they have no days off.
Yeah.
And so it's important. And we're programmed that way, right?
Yeah.
To work really hard to hustle.
Yeah.
But también tenemos que have some me time.
Yeah, exactly.
Enjoy life.
Exactly.
We have to work to live, not live to work.
100%. 100%. So thank you so much for coming in. Thank you, Rams, again.
Yeah.
And Panchito, keep at it, man. I see a lot of things going. I see a lot of positive things, bro.
Likewise, brother. Likewise.
And one day I will come in and run those 3 miles with you guys, or probably walk. I don't know. We'll see.
What matters is to finish them. It could be 1 mile, 2 miles. You go your own pace.
Yeah.
What matters is to go out there, finish what you set yourself.
Yeah.
The goals that you set for yourself, right? So if it's 1 mile, walk it, run it, but finish it.
What's the sorry, I know we're finishing. What is the time that you guys are doing a mile in?
So it varies. Like it's about 7, 8 of us. And then I like to run fast. So
Okay,
typically
what's the
like between 8 to like 10 minutes per mile, depending on, for example, the one extra per blossom Barrel Springs.
Uh-huh.
So those are hills.
Yeah, the beginning.
I take my time.
Yeah.
And it's like 9:30 per mile.
Yeah.
But when we run in Pelona Park, that's like 7:30.
Yeah, because it's
per mile.
flat, right?
It's flat.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So it just depends.
Okay.
And how, if I want to push myself or not that day or not.
Okay.
But I just do it just for fun, just to go out there and hold myself accountable
Yeah.
and run at least 3 miles.
I'm like you, bro. I'm competitive. If I see you running, I'm like, okay,
You're like,
let's go. All right. Well, I'm gonna come through. I'm gonna come
Thank
through.
you.
Yeah.
And before we conclude, follow on social media. We are as AB Run with Faith. We are on Instagram.
There you
So
go.
follow us. We're just getting started. We want to grow our members. It's free.
And shout out to Kim, for was she the one that actually put it together?
Yes.
Or she's the one that putting it together?
Yeah, she's
Okay.
the one. She's really spiritual, faithful, and I was like, Kim, you want to do it? Let's
No,
go for
she's
it.
a good person. I got to meet her through Liz. I got to meet her through we had a podcast at Teammake, an event, and we were
Virtue
talking.
Fest.
There you go, Virtue Fest.
Yeah.
And she was there, and I got to just talk to her for a little bit. And yeah, I'm like, bro, like you're good people. So shout out to Kim, and keep at it too. And
Exactly.
hopefully more Kims will get inspired to do other little communities for other people. Maybe there's a walking club out there somewhere.
Vamos a join. I was like, Ama, tú cáele, camina.
All right. Well, thank you so much again. And thank you everybody for listening and watching. Please like and subscribe. To the next one.